Well, breaking news earlier today, the Department of Justice dropped its criminal case against former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. The bombshell move, which was granted by the federal judge in the case, came more than 2 years after Flynn's guilty plea to the FBI. This is going to be an interesting discussion. Lots to talk about here, and we welcome our company, Trump Senior Legal Advisor Jenna Ellis, and the Republican strategist and Turning Point USA spokesperson Rob Smith. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, Jenna, you're the lawyer here. What does this mean? Can you break this down for us a little bit? Big news coming.
Absolutely. This is a great day for America in terms of legitimacy coming back through the Department of Justice. And so what happened here is that this was an independent investigation that Attorney General Bill Barr ordered. And let's remember, this wouldn't have happened to expose all of this corruption if Donald Trump had not been elected president. And so what happened here is that the Attorney General, through the U.S. Attorney, found that all of the facts and circumstances together, including no legitimate basis to even conduct the investigation originally back in January of 2017, ineffective assistance of counsel through that guilty plea that should have been withdrawn, and then all of the Brady evidence, the exculpatory evidence, the notes that have now been released, that we can see how this was an intentional targeting of General Flynn. All of these reasons, independently from a purely legal perspective, would give a reason for justice to require this case be dropped. But everything altogether, this shouldn't have even happened to begin with. And now Attorney General Bill Barr is making the absolute right call to dismiss this case because the Justice Department and law enforcement are not interested in political prosecutions. They're interested in justice. So this is all about justice today.
Hey, Rob, as two non-lawyers, let's talk about the politics of this for a second. I think the interesting thing that's going to happen is that both sides are going to read this decision the way they want. Folks who support President Trump are going to say exactly what Jenna just said, that this was a miscarriage of justice from the get-go. And those on the left, which includes a lot in the media, are going to say this was Trump telling his attorney general to drop the charges against Flynn. Do you think that politically this is going to help or hurt the Trump campaign as we move into the fall?
I mean, I think just like you said, I think that people are going to read into this what they want to read into this. They're going to believe what they want to believe. The conspiracy theorists on the left that push the Russia collusion and that push, all of this stuff for the past couple of years, they're going to think that this whole thing is not on the up and up. And the people that have supported President Trump are going to think that this vindicates him. So I don't know if this really moves the needle politically either way. I think that both sides are going to really kind of dig into wherever we already were when this whole thing started. But I think it does present an opportunity to really hopefully put all of this stuff behind us and kind of move forward and talk about the real issues that Americans are going to be dealing with leading up into this 2020 election.
Yeah.
I personally am not into some of the kind of like spy game elements and all of this drama. I think that for me, I'm focused on results. I'm focused on how we're going to move forward from this pandemic. I'm focused on how we're going to get the economy back rolling again. And I think that most voters will be focused on the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. If you are supporting President Trump, this strengthens your case. If you don't support him, I think you're going to look at this. But I agree with you, Rob. This doesn't really move the needle. It strengthens the case for both sides who want to do it, but no one's going to get swayed one way. Jenna, the thing that's interesting to me, though, is last week we had Alan Dershowitz on the show and KT McFarland talking about this. And I kind of was a little taken back by when we asked them, well, Flynn pled guilty, right? And they were like, yeah, but A, they put a ton of pressure on his family. They bled the guy dry. And, they come in and they show you a mountain of evidence and say, as Professor Dershowitz said, if you don't plead to this now, this is what's coming your way. I think that's got to be a concern, right? That Flynn pled guilty. And at some point, don't you think now he's got to come out and say, OK, I did, but let me tell you what the squeeze that was getting put on me?
Yeah, that's called coercion, and it's also called ineffective assistance of counsel. And Michael Flynn already tweeted about 2 weeks ago a declaration specifying exactly what happened in this case, and you can go and read that on his Twitter feed. And I do think, though, Sean, that this actually does move the political needle because while either side can have their opinions, no one can change the facts of this case. And so you're entitled to your opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. And if you just look at the facts of this case, regardless of whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Trump supporter, or not a Trump supporter, the fact of the matter is you should never, ever have a political prosecution, which is what this was. And the evidence has shown that this was a complete hunt. This was a setup. That the U.S. attorney originally prosecuting this case had a malicious prosecution by withholding exculpatory evidence that simply covered for the FBI in this case. That should never happen, regardless of whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. So we can all have our opinions on Michael Flynn himself, but we can't change the facts of this case and the fact that law enforcement and its only obligation is to do justice and carry out the law, not intentionally target a political opponent for their own profit. That is what happened in this case, and that should never happen again in the United States of America.
Well, whether this moves the needle or not, it's obviously a big win for Michael Flynn. But I also think it begs the question of what now happens to James Comey? What happens to the FBI and those agents who wrote those 302s? Rob, what do you think? And Jenna, I'd love for you to weigh in on this as well.
What this means for James Comey, I think that this means that there's going to be a lot more attention on him. And I think that what this means for everything moving forward is that the people that are really into all of this are really into the specifics of the situation. And I think that you're going to see a lot of the people that really know the specifics sort of kind of like lay this stuff out there more and more specifically as we move into the election. But like I said before, the people that care really do care, and this will make a difference for them. The people that don't are going to be focused on other issues. And the people on the left that want to advance this, collusion narrative that they've been advancing for the past couple of years will continue to do the same.
Hey,
I don't
Rob,
think it's going to sway votes.
Yeah, but Jenna, before you jump in, the one thing that I think you're onto something, but here's the question for you, because you're right. People right now, most people are concerned with what you brought up, what impact COVID is having on our health and our economy. But if you were advising the campaign or the president right now, Rob, would you say, hey, let's not dance on the grave that we got a victory here, stay focused on the prize? Because I think the problem that I would guess is that too many Republicans are going to focus on this when, frankly, most people who are looking to who to vote for this fall are not using this as a deciding factor. And if we take the eye off the prize, which you mentioned, that is a politically bad move. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that, Sean. If I was advising the president right now, I would say this is great, you're vindicated, but focus on how we're going to bring America back from this pandemic right now. Focus on the story that we have to sell to Americans that you're going to make America great again, and move forward to this election. I just do not think that the average voter, and particularly independent and swing state voters whose votes you're going to need in 2020, I don't think that they're going to care that much about it.
I think you have a great point. They may not care. But Jenna, does that mean that the FBI gets a pass on this just because voters don't really care?
Well, with all due respect to Rob, I think that the campaign isn't selling anything. We are actually showing who Donald Trump is and the fact that he cares about not only bringing this economy back, he cares about the minorities and jobs, and he cares about so many other things. He also cares about legitimacy in our justice system, and he can do and care about all of those things at once. And so I think that there is a really big segment of the American people who have seen the miscarriage of justice. They have been through the Russia collusion narrative. They've been through the impeachment. They've been through this, Michael Flynn setup. They've been through over and over and over again all of the Democrats' lies. They've been through all of the miscarriage of justice, and they want to see accountability for people who have been bad actors in all of these situations, from Adam Schiff to James Comey to everyone else. And so accountability, again, is an element of legitimacy in our justice system that should not matter whether you're Democrat or Republican. And that isn't just a campaign talking point. That's something that Donald Trump absolutely believes in. And that's why Bill Barr is the best attorney general for the job, because he understands that incredibly well.
Well, we'll see if the FBI does get justice. Obviously, Flynn got justice today. Thank you both for unpacking this with us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, when we return, we have so much more to talk about. It's the National Day of Prayer, and we'll tell you how you could be a part of it. And later is our meme of the week. Stick with us.